Well, we're back and it's time for our panel discussion to begin with some really esteemed set of panelists joining us. In fact, these are the names, the brands are the names that are synonymous to happiness, to food, to dining, and most importantly, to embracing the kind of changes that we're all swimming through. So it's important that we learn from the leaders themselves. Let me inform you all that we will have some time at least for the questions to be taken up for the panelists. I'm going to request you all to please drop in your questions on the right side in the Q&A chat box, and we'll have our session moderator take up questions for all of you towards the end of the session. That being said, it's time to get our panel discussion started for all of you. And with that, let me inform you that this particular session, in fact, is something that we've all been eagerly looking forward to, because from small standalone establishments to pan-India chains, we do believe that with COVID, everyone was affected. In fact, considering that we're talking about human resources that the industry employs, while some had to shut the shop permanently, others managed to resume business and even restore it to pre-pandemic levels. So this session, in fact, highlights how the restaurants are navigating through the pandemic. And we have a stellar lineup of speakers for all of you. First up, we have Mr. Rahul Singh, who is the founder and CEO of the Beer Cafe, as we all know, one of India's favorite beer chain. We also have with us Ms. Gauri Devidayal, who is the founder and CEO with Food Matters India Private Limited. We have with us the CEO of Impresario Entertainment and Hospitality Private Limited, Mr. Riyaaz Amlani. We're also joined by Mr. Vishal Sharma, who's a chef and founder of Chef Designs. We also have with us Chef Vikas, Seth, chef and culinary director, Embassy Leisure and Entertainment Projects LLP, an Embassy Group. And to lead the session, once again, we have with us Mr. Anurag, Katriar, President NRAI and founder and managing director, Indigo Hospitality Private Limited. With that, as all our speakers are already here with us online, without any further delay, let's get the session started. I hand over the proceedings to Mr. Katriar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and welcome all the lovely panelists. So this is the best thing of being the moderator. I don't have to talk much. I only have to make sure that others talk. So, and with this kind of a lineup, I'm truly excited. So, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this discussion is restaurants for tomorrow, and which basically starts from point that whatever was relevant in the pre-pandemic times will change significantly in the post-pandemic era. And I'm very thrilled to have a panel like this, because they represent virtually every aspect of the F&B business. So without much ado, I'll move on, and I'm going to come to each panelist for their opening remark, maybe a small question, and then we will go with the flow. There is no structure to this discussion. So I will start with, as usual, Riyaaz bhai. How are you, Riyaaz?
So, I'm good. I'm here to take notes actually from you guys. So
oh my God. That's called humility. Gentlemen, that's the definition of the word humility. Okay, Riyaaz, you have a presence across the nation, across various segments of the business, from fine diner to casual diners to delis to QSR to everything. You have your presence in every segment of the business, and at the same time you are present in lots of cities. Now, you tell me from your perspective as somebody who has been there, done that, everything, how do you see the things changing going forward? And what is that, you're also one of the most creative guys here. So what are those new things you'd like to see or do in the future?
I think, Anuragji, one of the things that I have seen in the restaurant, and we made a lot of predictions even the last time around, people will behave like this, people will behave like that, people will be much more health conscious, people will, avoid unhealthy food, they will want to order only digitally, only. Fact of the matter is that once, things started to normalize, we very quickly slipped back into our own old behavior patterns very quickly. I think that restaurants were a source of comfort to a lot of people who and a kind of a sense that yes, finally life is finally returned to normal and life is good and we're coming back. Am I audible? Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm not sure whether the pandemic will be a tipping point or a catalyst in change. Yes, change is inevitable. It will happen. I'm just not sure whether how much of the change will be driven by the pandemic, or will the change be driven by changing lifestyles, changing values, changing technology. I personally feel that while the basics of restauranting, which is good food, good service, and good company, will remain pretty much the same. I think we are becoming information junkies, and we just want more and more information about everything. We want to know more about more. We have little chips in every little thing which tell you, how many steps you've taken. What is the temperature of your AC at home? What is the temperature of water in your tap? This is kind of becoming like we're all becoming these kind of crazy statisticians in a sense, and I feel that somehow in the restaurant business, I think that people will want to know more about their ingredients. They'll want to know more about the calorific value. They'll want to know more about the nutritional value. They'll want to know more about how it was prepared. They will want access to all this information. Whether they consume it or not is different. But I personally feel that the future is going to be about giving customers more information, being radically transparent about your food and your offerings and your serving styles, and you can't have any secret sauce, so to speak. Customers will want to know more, and I think that this will be fueled by technology. So menus will become a lot more interactive, a lot more. You will have many more layers to your menu. You will have nutritional values, you'll have calorific values, you'll have preparation methods, you'll have provenance, where each ingredient has come from. I think people want to deep dive more and more and more, especially in things that they're consuming. uh, but other than that, I don't know. I mean, there's all that, things that are grown in labs and all, but more or less I feel, thank God that restaurants will be pretty much the same as they were 100 years ago, which is just a great place to interact and meet people.
No, that's very interesting, Riyaaz. What you say is that this pandemic is not going to be a tipping point vis-a-vis how people consume in restaurants, which is very interesting because, I believe lots of things have changed. But at the same time, I think you are very right. People are looking to consume data, and they are looking for data at all points of time. Now, I will come to one of the chefs on a follow-up question on this. But before that, let me move to Rahul Singh next. Sarji, namaskar. Rahul, you're there? Okay, I can see that. So Rahul, now if I compare this to what Riyaaz is doing, where he has his presence across various segments in various cities, you have a single brand, a single product line, which is the Alcobev segment, running across the country. How different is it for you and your segment with all these changes, and how do you see this moving ahead? You also believe that technology will play a larger part in your business going forward? Rahul? Sarji? Rahul, you're not audible, or am I not being audible?
I think looks like it's in a bad network area.
Okay. Okay. I think we should move forward in that case. And I'll come back to Rahul when he is in a little better position to connect. So now, I will go to Chef now. So Chef, sorry, I'm talking about Vishal right now. Chef, Riaz just spoke about, everybody is looking for more data, that they want the temperature at which something has been done, where this has been sourced, calorific value and all. You think somewhere, I think it is taking out the joy of being a chef or a restaurateur and making you like a data scientist do you see your role changing as a chef with all these changes coming in?
He's absolutely right, as he just mentioned, that people are more aware of what they are eating. They want to know what exactly being served to them. They are literally more aware of the ingredient. Being social media so, I would say, handy these days, people know each and everything about the food, the ingredient, from where they are sourcing it. So it's good. It's a good thing for I would say it's a good thing for a chef as well to understand this. Your diner also understand the importance of food. But due to this pandemic, lots of things happening around. We are trying lots of new, a new normal. What we are saying, don't believe that how long this new generation, which are born due to this COVID, will stay. As Riaz very rightly said, the fun of eating is being into a restaurant. The digital platform or dining delivery formats or off premises, as we just mentioned, can't stay for long. Definitely, it's a little difficult, say, chef these days to explore more what new things he can offer, where he can post new things. So he is innovating. Chefs are new things. They are trying what can more to clients these days.
So, Vishal, I have a follow-up question on this. I always believe that food has only two definitions. Either it's tasty or not tasty.
Absolutely.
Now, with all these new things coming up about calories and, where is the ingredient sourced from and whatnot, do you think somewhere we are losing the joy of eating out, or for that matter, joy of being chefs or being restaurateurs?
We are literally losing it out because when we experiment too much, as you must have heard today that uh, Chef Daniel 11, they just started, they're launching a new restaurant with a complete vegan menu. This is just a new news, which is a kind of a big experiment he's doing. There's no meat, no, I would say no animal products, which is a big thing abroad. Definitely in India, we still believe in people love to explore into vegetarian food, or there is category called vegetarian in India. Definitely abroad, there is meat or taste. People are experimenting. Uh, as rightly said, on tasty, it can't be on what going in and eating. So it's time that this uh, uh, definitely will be our actual normal.
Okay, I think your audio was a little bit disturbed towards the end, but I think we get a sense of what you are saying, Chef. Thank you so much. Rahul, sir, am I audible to you? Rahul, am I audible? No, Rahul is still struggling. No. Okay, I think.
This is getting everyone.
Sorry?
This looks like a computer virus.
Okay. So, Gauri. Now, one of the most versatile food service players that I know of. I mean, she comes up with something that we only think of once in a while. Now, Gauri, I've seen you during this whole pandemic. You have been like multifaceted, and you suddenly became great at deliveries and whatnot. So my question to you is, there is this one thing we talk about, experience of eating out. It's a lot about going out and socializing. And on the other hand, today we see lots of innovations happening around deliveries. Now, I'm very certain that deliveries cannot replace restaurants, but they have their own significance of their own. Where do you see this fight between dine-in and delivery? How do you see it shaping up in the future as we move in the post-pandemic world again?
So, Anurag, sorry, are you finished? Anurag, I feel that there's room for both. They satisfy very different needs. Dine-in is, it's a completely different experience. It's about not just food and beverage, but, the social aspect and, of course, celebration, etc. Delivery meets a completely different requirement, in my opinion, which is, it's about comfort. You can't create a restaurant experience that easily at home. And also, in terms of the kind of food that people crave at home is very different from what they are looking for when they go to a restaurant. And, we've seen that with, when the pandemic kicked off and we realized that, we had to do delivery. It's not just about replicating your restaurant menu into a delivery format. You have to think of the entire experience very differently. You have to look at not just the menu, but in terms of the fact that it's going to reach someone, possibly an hour later after after it's made. It has to be possibly reheated, etc. So I think the thought process is very different. What the consumer is looking for is very different in both formats, and it's very possible for both to coexist. And the thing that's happened we actually had a couple of delivery brands even before sort of the pandemic struck, and we've only kind of expanded that during this time. And what it's done is that, because of the fact that restaurants were allowed to open and then closed again, and possibly that might happen more, over the coming months, it's allowed us to kind of hedge the two businesses and basically keep our head above water, so far. And I think that that's the beauty of the two businesses is that they can coexist and they also help us sort of get through difficult times like this.
No, I agree. I agree. But tell me one thing. I mean, when we talk about delivery per se, and when we are talking about keeping the experience going while the food has been prepared an hour before, you think there are more? There is a larger need to innovate around products there, or there is a larger need to innovate around packaging and the logistics? Where do you see more efforts required right now?
So I actually think that the innovation is not so much in terms of the menu; it's more in terms of quality, because people are becoming far more discerning. And of course, in the last 1 year, there's been a huge eruption of delivery brands. So, what's going to set you apart, right? Like we have Iktara, for example, which is our Indian menu, and we do biryani on it. Now, we're not the first people to do biryani, or we're not the first
And
people
the
to do
best
pizza
laddus.
through toppings, right? So, how are you differentiating yourself? And I think the thing comes down to quality, which is what people who are now, been sitting at home for the most part and are ordering in, and they've got this sort of, incredible amount of choice now. So how do you distinguish yourself? I think it's on quality. It's definitely on packaging. And I think the other big thing which, we've sort of tried to tap into is on exploring new markets. So being able to offer a product in as good a format in further away from your immediate vicinity, which is what we got used to, obviously, with through aggregators, etc., which is what delivery brands were hugely dependent on. So I think being able to be creative on that aspect of course, how you package your product, but also whom you're reaching out to and your sort of audience is I think the need of the hour. And we're a Bombay-based group, so of course our main customer base is in Bombay, but we've actually expanded that to the outskirts of the city, which is where our audience is now to a large extent also residing, and I think it's that's actually kept us going.
Okay. Thank you, Gauri, so much. No, in fact, I was reading somewhere, it was very interesting. They said packaging is perhaps the most important ingredient in delivery business because that's the only interface between the restaurant and the consumer. I mean, that's the only communication tool that you have between you and the consumer. But anyways, Rahul sir, are you back?
Yes, I am back.
Thank you so much. Now, I'm not sure if you heard my question last time,
I
Rahul, but
did.
I'm going to
I
repeat
did.
myself. You
No, I
did. So
did. I
please,
did. I did.
so
Okay.
give me your perspective about how this Alcobev segment is going to behave going forward.
So we have to look at it in two pies. One is what's the global order? So if we look at China as well as United States, the two large countries where alcohol beverage is prevalent and also home delivered, how have they behaved? I'm not talking about COVID right now. I'm just talking about normal times. And if you look at them, yes, the delivery business has helped the alcohol beverage chains, but not to the point that they would expect that to happen. From a perspective, you cannot change experience with the convenience. So if you want a particular beer, you're sitting at home and you're watching your streamed videos and stuff. At that time, you might need a beer. But there is something that you need to go out to, which is like, for example, a tap beer. A beer on a draft, a tap pull, you cannot replicate that at home. You cannot replicate your four friends over a Zoom call or, like what we are on online. There's nothing like meeting physically. I think so. Those things are very important to know about the kind of brand or the kind of product that you put together. A pizza, yes, I would say even 70-80% of pizzas could be delivered because pizzas are comfort food. You can eat it anytime. It's a no mess food. You can have it during your office workouts. You can do it, sitting at home. But when it comes to a beer, especially, it is what I call a social lubricant. It brings people together. And for that, you need people and that you need them physically. So we've seen that happen in other countries. And I think even if India allows e-commerce of alcohol beverage, it will be mainly for home use. It will not affect the experiential businesses like what I have. So at this point in time, due to COVID, which we saw in the first wave, and now whatever the second or third, I don't know what wave this is, but what I realize is that business will roll back, business will thrive again. It's just a pause right now. This is a bend in the road. It's not the end of the road. We just have to weather it and go through this. Right now, it's safety first, targets later. Business will be back to normal. I can assure you that. Hundreds of years of restaurant businesses, everything has gone through, whether it's a Spanish flu, whether it's a World War I, II, even the Katrina hurricane recently in 2005, where every restaurant was gutted. I'm not talking about shut down, they were gutted. Yeah. And out of 900 restaurants in New Orleans, today there are 1,400 of them. So I think with a more resilient business, especially alcohol beverage, because we are an experiential business, people have to come to us, not the other way around. The business will thrive for sure.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's very, very positive note. So what I can definitely see right now is everybody feels that this business isn't going anywhere. I think this is just a bend in the road, as Rahul said, and the road ahead is very, very good. Now I'm going to come to Chef Vikas. I've been reading up a lot about what all you have been doing. Some very interesting stuff from being guru of Mexican food. So I'm doing a lot more than that. So, Chef, I think I'm going to talk to you not from a tech perspective, purely from an experience perspective. Which are the cuisines and which are the segments? When I talk about segments, I'm talking about whether fine dining, casual dining, affordable casual, or QSR, or so on, that kind of dining. Where do you, if you have to put in your own money today, where will you put your money?
Sure. So first of all, I think it's time to say what I've been hearing is no Rona during Corona. Okay,
Yes.
So no crying, keep trying, and I think that's the stage what we have reached today. And to be very frank, I'm as of now in Bangalore, and what I have seen in last 1 year, it is like no doubt it's heartbreaking, but the learnings are immense. We saw how the whole thing changed in few months. Bangalore was the first, I would say, one of the first city to cope back. And when this lockdown happened in the month of March, April, and in the mid-May and June, the restaurant was back and on. So I'm trying to give you a bit of things what we have learned during last year, and I think there's a lot of learning in that. And what we learned is we came back to almost 80% of our regular operations, meaning even with the sale by the month of December, which gives the perspective that yes, we are in a tough times, No doubt about it. Nobody can deny it. We have to follow all the rules. But the time is going to be back where we were earlier. And coming back to some of the things everybody has spoken, like what people like to eat and what you're asking, where you would like to put your money on. I would put my money on everything what people like to eat. But today, if the scenes are changing, what I have learned or what I have seen is it's not only about health food today. It's still about experience. People were coming back to the restaurant for that experience. It wasn't only about the food. So it is all in all, a mix of everything, and everything will come back to normal. That is what we perceive today. But yes, there are going to be a lot of deviations. That is very much visible, and we saw that. Like we have this Mexican brand Sanchez, and we have Asian Sriracha. We suddenly saw during the lockdown the delivery sale was remarkably different, and it's bound to happen. But the once you're back to normal, or kind of a little bit normal also, people were happy to be back at your location if you're following the rules, if you're keeping that distance, if you're getting that shield in between, if you're making sure your team is following all the rules. So I think we have not going anywhere out, and you can put your money in whatever you feel has people to you want to share with. So I would put even on Mexican, but I'll tell you that we have been doing Mexican with mostly local ingredients. Of course, I'm not saying we are getting chilies, maybe a bit of maza, and that's about it. Being in Bangalore, we are lucky to have lots of avocados and lots of local produce, which helps to do making our own things. So right from making our own cheese, a simple cheese like queso, or learning the art of making chorizo, our own sausage. I think that's where we are moving to. Like people will go into more details. People will have a shorter menu that we are seeing for sure, but they will try to do everything in-house, because you can't depend on a lot of outsourcing, especially if outsourcing is out of the country. There's no chance. It'll take surely
Great chef, great.
light in the end.
You know what? I think for a panel of this caliber, we need more time than this. But I've been told right now by the organizers that we are running out of time. If we have any questions, I mean, we can take a few of them. Kavya?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Katriar. We've received a couple of questions, and it's on the right side of the screen. Or if you want, I can share the questions with you.
Okay. Share them, please. You're talking to somebody technologically challenged.
Yes, Mr. Katriar. So there's this question that's coming from Deepak. The question is, do you think cloud kitchen is the future of F&B business, or is it a hybrid model of both cloud and restaurant? So because for the new brand, commissions with marketing costs for them goes over 35% of crops. So is this really the way forward?
Who is taking this? Put your hands up, guys. We have a very, very strong panel. Who is taking this? Everybody is smiling. Okay.
Yeah,
I will take it. I will take it, Anurag. I'll tell you. During this period, we actually decided to open 4 different brands, which are more on delivery format, and we used our present kitchens to operate it. So we are present in like 3 locations, doing 4 different brands. So 9 to 12 different things which are going around, and that was basically to blend in, to use the present infrastructure in place, and to use everything together.
I think
without investing anything and without making any additional manpower cost on our payrolls, basically. And that's what we had done, and what we have realized is, yes, there is a lot of scope in this, because I think this is not the last wave what we are facing. There might be some more coming in pipeline. So this is a kind of another setup which we have, and we can see the sales. It is not that great, to be very frank with you. The numbers are not that great. The restaurant numbers are still superb as compared to the delivery model, because everybody is into this space today. There's nothing else. But as a brand, like if a Mexican brand or Asian brand which is known to people, there are more deliveries happening from Sanchez Sriracha as versus to any new delivery brand coming in the market. Because that's going to take its own time. You need to give
And
that time to establish.
I wouldn't be very surprised with that, chef. That doesn't surprise me at all, because today people are looking to order from brands where they feel they are getting food from a very safe environment. The brand brings that kind of a confidence in people.
Sure.
Anyway, I don't know if we have much more time left, because I've been getting the beepers here, so that our time is over. So, well, thank you, everyone. And I just want to sum up this discussion by saying that there is nothing to feel very bad about. This is one of those phases which is just a bend in the road, and the F&B business isn't going anywhere. वक्त ही है, मुश्किल ही सही गुजर जाएगा. Thank you so very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you indeed, Mr. Katriar. Thank you indeed to all of our panelists as we end that session on a very optimistic note.